Detective Comics number 980, James Tynion the fourth, Scott Eaton on the art, and as with a solid issue, first and foremost, they did some good things with building up to our final issue of the run, and we had Batman with Orphan and Spoiler sneaking into the Belfry to try and take control back and find stuff out. Batwoman's protecting Montoya, which was a fun opening scene that really got going, but that's not bury the lead here.
See, I thought you were going to build to it. So I didn't know what you're doing, so I had to wait to fill you out to see what you were doing.
Here's the thing. Someone on Twitter, one of our audience on Twitter, before I read it, just tweeted at me saying, "You're going to love Detective this week." And I went, "Okay, all right."
And then I saw you in the Facebook thread go, "Oh my God, yeah, it's Detective this week." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Something happens with characters."
Do you know, I said to Pete the other day, cause when I was recording something, I think it was probably Wednesday evening, I went, "Have you read any comics yet?" And he goes, "I've read, I've read two, Detective and, Justice." I was like, "Oh, how are they?" And he was like, "Detective is, it's pretty special." I was like, "Okay, what happens with Steph?"
Yep.
My response was, "It's not just Steph," which is also accurate.
Okay, then what happened with Cassandra Cain?
So basically, they're sneaking in, and they're getting so far, and Steph's drones are just sort of, wiping them from any surveillance.
Yeah, I love that they're anti-Tim. She was so mad at him. She was like, "I'm going to create technology where he can't follow me."
But they get to the server room or whatever, and she's like, "Okay, once we get down there, we're not going to be cloaked anymore. We're going to have to do things fast." And Batman's like, "Okay, let's do this." And they're going down, and when the general sends in his OMAC soldiers, and they're talking to them and all that. Basically, they're trying to talk Steph out of it, and they say, "Hey, you're not even the best version that you can be. You're a pale imitation of what you could be, both of you." And then we see her, the reaction at the end of that page is her going, "Oh my God," and I'm like, "What am I about to see?" And I turn the page, and he's showing them basically them as Batgirls from the original timeline. He's like, because of OMAC, he's got information from previous timelines, and he shows them in their Bat costumes, and they're like, "Holy shit!" And later on, when we come back to it, some of the moments I really loved about this was Cass. First of all, she mentions we're Batgirls, and then later on, she's like touching the hologram of the suit, and she's like, "The symbol they let me," and I'm like, she loves the idea of having a bat symbol.
Well, and I love that Brother Eye's like, "You were an orphan no more," and I just love that play on her current code name, and I also this might be the second most I've ever loved Stephanie Brown when she defeats him by going like, "Hey, you thought that you were getting me off my game, but really you just showed me that I'm better in every timeline. So eat this." Yes. And then she does what she needs to.
My waffle queen and my silent night. They're here. And now, admittedly, some people might think I'm jumping to conclusions here, saying that this might set something up. I don't necessarily think it is for sure.
No.
But I do think at the very least, Cass being excited about the idea of having a Bat logo, I think it'll probably lead to her at least having a new costume. Whether it's a Batgirl costume or whatever, I don't know.
I find it weird that all of the stuff that's spinning out of my favorite era of comics is coming out of tech, because that's the first reference we've gotten to Tim about Connor was there, and then now we have this with the two different Batgirls in that era.
Actually saying the word Batgirls, the fact that Birds of Prey's ended, is my dream trio of Batgirls book going to be a thing? Are they going to go to Babs and say, "Hey, we want trained as Batgirls"? Is that going to be a thing? Just seeing that costume again is so exciting to me, and I them knowing this at the very least is exciting, and and not to jump to conclusions, but he did say on Twitter he was working on a book that was spinning out of this with a couple of the characters. So who knows? Maybe that does involve these characters. It could do.
Yeah, I could see you're talking about an all-female Justice League team, right? Like, I could see an all-female Bat Family book.
Oh, sure.
Easy. And that's something I would read in a heartbeat. Like, I love Gotham City Sirens, but that was the opposite side. I would like to see that, but with this group. So,
I could totally see it, but needless to say, I mean, I love No Justice, and I loved another book or two that we'll be getting to, but in terms of a moment, this was the one that made me go, oh shit, the most this week.
I get that. I feel like, though, for me, my problem is, as fantastic as this moment is, I don't think the issue overall like stands up. I think it's a fine issue, and then it's like, oh, and here's why you care.
I know.
But
I
it's
think
kind of
I think it goes beyond fine.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
The Kate and Renee stuff.
Yeah, Kate and Renee
that
starts
made
great
me-
as well. Yeah, the fact because Omak's like attacking Renee, and Kate swoops in, like, don't you dare touch her, and even the fact that Renee hears that she's going to be the commissioner in this future timeline, like all that stuff was working for me.
I thought that was
Renee,
it was fine. I didn't love it.
Renee and Harvey Bullock just back and forth, give me some Gotham Central style vibes. Like this felt like not a greatest hits, but like all the stuff that I love around the peripheral Bat universe. All these smaller characters, Batman. Like, yeah, he has an impact because he's with Steph and Cass, and they're doing their run into the Belfry. But like, it's all these little stuffs around that, and then you see him fight Batwing and Azrael, and how those are different versions of himself and whatnot. Like, thought it was all really there, and it was all solid.
Yeah, no, I love this issue quite a bit. So, and not just because of the.
I didn't quite love it. I thought it was a decent issue, and then it went, oh hey, here's what you care about because you care about it already. So it was like, okay, that helps, but I didn't love the issue in general.
Yeah, we've established many a time that you have questionable taste, so that's okay. That was a great issue.
It was a good issue.
It was a great issue. I'll have none of it. But obviously, yes, it had that one big shining moment that was the thing. But even just the emotion after it, like Cass, like oh, they let me wear the bat symbol. That moment, like, is like.
No, I
so
think that
good.
those last 5 pages or so are pretty great. Yeah. But I think the rest of the issue before it's okay. It doesn't do a lot for me. It's good. It's the next part of the thing, but I'm not like super into it like of what it's doing there.
No, I thought it was a great issue. I was liking it already up until that point with everything else.
Yeah. Well, and then I just thumbed through it right now, and Ulysses' look was like, what the hell she just do? Because she effectively just broke Omak. Yeah, she shouldn't be able to do.
Because she says, you just gave me access to the history of an entire timeline. So she's going to use that in some way to beat him. So that's pretty exciting. So we'll see what she does with that.
If that's the case, and if that's Tynion working through Stephanie to, like, talk about stuff that I love, then cool. Like, but I'm also very biased to that nostalgia.
Yeah.
So
it's worth mentioning this next issue is the last one of this arc, of this run. 981's the last one. We got one more left.
Man,
so,
see, and also the fact that Tynion and Williamson are both like these big figures going forward, it makes me very excited.
Yep. So, except that Tim's probably dead and he's not coming back. But other than that,
you know what though? As much as I like Tim, he's been a real pain in the ass since he's been back. So I would be willing to sacrifice him if it meant...
No, but that's the point. He's going to remember what he's supposed to be, and we're going to get a good Tim again.
And then he's going to die, and then he's going to have his costume in the Batcave in a memorial.
He's going to die before Connor comes back, and then Connor will have faint memories of some Tim from another timeline.
But you know what? The inverse of that, because Tim worked so hard to bring back Connor, and if you can have Connor doing the same for him... not giving me an excuse to have a Connor Kent Booster Gold book.
We just killed Tim for a year and a half. I'm not doing it.
He wasn't actually dead.
Let's be honest. I'm just trying to wind up Connor. Anyway, let's move on. So Detective, really great, despite what that ginger over there says, the menace that he is.